This play is based on interviews by the members of our theater company, soon after the incidents at Minnetonka, California in February of 2025. The interviews were filmed. Tonight's performances are based on those interviews as well as on available primary sources, including letters, newspaper articles, recordings, and security camera footage.
Should I start? We're already rolling.
Okay, so I'm just gonna start with this story. When I was younger, way before I was involved with law enforcement, I had this idea. I wanted to be an artist, and this was New York. I lived in a 5th floor walk-up, tiny studio. And I'm trying to be a painter, so I'd wait tables during the day, and I'd stay up late doing watercolors. I'd stay up until 3, 4, 5 in the morning, and that was how I noticed that I had this neighbor. I would hear his alarm go off at 3:30, and he would say, "Not again." Then, at exactly 4:15, I would hear his door open, and he would descend downstairs. But I never saw him. One night, I couldn't stand it anymore. I had to see what this guy looked like, so at exactly 4:15, I heard him fumble with his lock, and I crept to my own front door. The door had this big peephole, about this big, that was covered with a metal plate that you had to slide away to look through. I turned off my own lights, slid that little plate aside, and pressed my eye up against the peephole. And I screamed. An involuntary scream that comes out like that, a real scream. It's very different. It's not a movie scream. It's like, ah! So I scream and I fall back against the bathroom door. Huge commotion as I hit the ground. Because what had happened was, I slid that little plate aside to look through, and there was an eye. He was looking in at me. I'm on the floor and I just freeze. Finally, from the other side of the door, I can hear the sound of the guy picking up his keys and start down the stairs. Now I had to see what he looked like. I picked myself up, pressed myself against the door, and once again looked through. There's that eye again. It's mine. It's a reflection of my own eye. I realized it just in time to see this freaked out postman heading down the stairs. That was the most scared I've ever been, and it was just me scaring me. The only other time I've heard that scream, what a real scream sounds like, was that night when I heard 241 people make it all at once. I told that story to Candelaria, and she said, "You're missing part of the lesson. Most of it was about being startled. But what was the first thing you did? You flipped off the light switch. People are naturally scared of the dark."
We lived in a house in Dunbar, North Carolina that was just about a quarter of a mile from Kendall Avenue, the main shopping street. It was a tall house, and from my bedroom on the 4th floor...
Just keep going.
It was a tall house, and from my bedroom on the 4th floor, I could see a billboard. It was an ad for Diet Coke. In the picture, there were 2 guys and a girl clowning around, but exaggerated. They were posing for each other. I loved that billboard. To me, it was a picture of infinity. Models acting like people acting like models. It was the first time I encountered recursion, something that bends back into itself, that refers to itself and so becomes a loop. My name is Candelaria Ortiz. When the incident at the Oak Box happened, they were trying to understand it from every angle. Criminal, psychological, biological, and philosophical. That's why they brought me in.
We have this, well, I have this picture. We were on our way to church and everybody looked so nice, so I lined us up with a timer and I took one. Me with my arm squeezing all 3 of them. But before I could take the next one, I looked and it was a miracle shot. It was like the Hail Mary of impromptu photos. So I had it printed, 8 by 10, and I put it in a frame. The frame, though, that cardboard leg that balances it broke. So instead of using that, I had it leaned up against the wall on top of the cabinet. That night, all 3 kids were headed to the play. I noticed that it had slipped down, so I had to pick it up and lean it against the wall again. So, one moment of grace as they walked out that door, I looked at that picture.
Nenachop isn't a town anybody outside Mender County's heard of. But everybody's surprised how pretty it is. Once you get off 234, it's all rolling hills and green. So most people's jobs got something to do with parsley farming. People never think about it, but yes, there's parsley farms, big ones. Not a lot of people move here, but not a lot of people want to leave. They like it because it's peaceful and safe.
My wife had a pink eye, so I was gonna pick up our friend Harlan. And when I get there, he says, "You're just in time. The kitchen sink's a disaster." I'm a contractor, not a plumber, but I said, "Okay." After 5 minutes, I told him it's gonna be the clog of the show. "You okay blowing off the show?" He said, "Sure. Then we can grab a few drinks afterwards." I said, "Okay, but we're gonna pretend we went to the show."
So, I'm brand new to this job. I mean, it's my 4th day ever as a detective. And I really want to do a good job, but I can already tell that I'm not, and it's stupid things. Being new in a place gets in your way in ways you don't expect. Why are there 2 conference rooms with the same name? The fax machine. Do you press 9? Do you not press 9? And people are not, just edit this out, please. People are not as nice to me as I would be in this situation. And I can't even tell where the paper goes in this fax machine. It was a printer. So, for the most part, I'm thinking, how could things get worse? And then the whole incident starts, and things get worse and worse and worse.
Me and Mary Regular sitting below the bridge, right below the oak box, just talking to the world. Then we hear this crazy loud sound. It's like fog, like, you know? It sounded like it came from the oak box, but Mary said it must be part of the play.
I'm a forensic engineer. If a bridge collapses or a dam gives way or people get trapped in a fire, my job is to figure out what went wrong. Some of the cases are famous. The Hartford Circus Fire in 1944 killed 168 people. The Great White Fire in 2003 killed 100. One of the things you start to pay attention to is what happened with the doors. There was a fire, a famous fire in Chicago in 1903, the Iroquois Fire. It was right after Christmas, and so kids were all out of school, and the whole theater was full of families, all 3 levels and even the standing room on the 2nd. A curtain caught on fire, and what happened was the first people to reach the doors realized half a second too late that the doors opened in. And the people behind them were panicked and crowded them, and so they couldn't get the door open because they were pressed with the hinges going the wrong way. When you look at a door that's trapped people, you always find scuff marks halfway up the door because the impulse is to kick. If there's more time, you'll find dents, sometimes big ones, where somebody got a fire extinguisher or a dresser, something heavy. But the incident at the oak box, I had never seen anything like it. You looked at those doors and you just thought, what the hell?
I get home and my wife runs out the door and she throws her arms around me. And I have no clue what's going on, but it's clear I shouldn't say, "Oh, we went to the play and then we got a drink afterwards." And she tells me to look at the news, and I'm expecting Channel 2, but she turns on CNN.
At first, I thought, I wasn't expecting that they would find me, but I was surprised that they thought to look. My name is Rickard Bader. I'm an assistant professor at the University of Minnesota. I study fear.
911, what is your emergency?
I'm not sure.
Is it life-threatening?
Yes.
Are you safe right now?
No.
I'm sending someone. More than one. There's cars already on the way. What's your name, Chica?
Angela.
Angela. I'm sending to the Oak Box. Is that right?
Yes.
And there's a play tonight. The high school's performing a play. Is that where you are?
Yes.
In the theater.
Yes.
And somebody's hurt?
Everybody.
Who was that again? Where are you in the theater?
I'm just standing on the stage.
Take a very, very deep breath. Hold it.
None of it made any sense. All of a sudden, this tiny town is the site of a tragedy that nobody's ever seen or heard of. 241 people fall unconscious while watching a high school play that the program tells us is called Trap.
And we only have a few events for the timeline. We know that the people are fine at 11 after 8 because that's when the usher texts her older brother to pick her up after the show. Then she goes into the theater and turns off her phone. At 9:10, two kids sitting on a ridge below the theater hear what they think is a foghorn, but they assume that it's part of the play. At 9:22, we get the 911 call. A girl named Angela Lure, who it turns out is the only person still conscious. When we finally get her out of there, she won't talk. She either doesn't know what happened or she's too scared to say it.
The Oak Box is international news. I was hiking in the hills near Clovis, New Zealand when I heard about it. All those people fallen unconscious. In a theater. That was the key. I had conflicting thoughts. I thought, how horrible. And then I thought, there it is. There's our proof.
I didn't hear about it until it was on every single channel. I got that weird feeling you get, you know, when you see something on TV that's right in your neighborhood. The Oak Box, again? There's no way this is a coincidence. Everyone was like, that was 80 years ago. But I remember thinking, I don't care if it was 80 years ago. One theater, two tragedies. There has to be a connection.
Minichap Herald, March 19, 1946. Bond Measure 2A, funding to build a new theater palace on Supper Bluff, just passed with 54% of the vote. Quoted from Mayor Roger Wegman,
"We intend to use this funding to bring visitors to Minichap from all over the country.
the search for an architect is set to begin immediately."
From architect Brand Hillock's winning bid for the Minichap Theater program. Theaters have soaring spaces, fly spaces, where the scenery can be pulled up out of view. My plan is to extend this metaphor of flight throughout the entire building. At the sides, half arches will rise like wings lit from within. My hope is that this building will be known far and wide as the Minichap Angel.
Minichap Herald, April 1st, 1947. Ground was broken yesterday on the Minichap Angel, our city's 700-seat theater. Mayor Roger Wegman overturned the ceremonial first shovel frozen earth, then declared that this new theater would be a boon to our economy, and even more to our spirits.
Letter from Norma Pike to Adelaide Pike, April 3rd, 1947. My dear sister, I miss you. I miss you, and there's no one else in Minichap I can tell this to. I am disgusted with myself. I had Jonathan all to myself for 3 whole hours, and I said nothing. We had dinner at Chauncey's Creme Room, but it was somber. Jonathan's been so quiet ever since Pat moved to San Francisco. Why do men have so few friends? He didn't talk, and I couldn't think about anything to talk about, except the question. And I simply wasn't brave enough to ask him.
Minichap Herald, April 4th, 1947. 3 days in, construction halted on the Civic Theater. Synastic techniques have shown that the granite bedrock below Supper Bluff is twice as thick as previously believed. According to Chief Engineer Foster Willingham,
our plans call for dressing rooms below ground, as well as stage machinery, including trapdoors. This delay will be a few weeks at most.
Norma Pike to Adelaide Pike, May 25th, 1947. He said yes! Adelaide, I can't tell you how happy I am. Saturday night, we walked up on the bluff. We stared out at the lights of the ships as they passed. And when he looked away, I got down on one knee. I held out grandfather's wedding band. He said,
"What are you doing?"
I said, "What does it look like I'm doing?"
"That's not how it's done."
I said, "Jonathan, we are going to be married for at least 50 years. No one needs to know how it began." Adelaide, I feel lit from within, electrified. But this time, I promise, not in a bad way. Must rush off. The Curlies are coming over, so I have to buy another sofa.
Minichap Herald, May 31st, 1947. Local boy vanishes. 10-year-old Marcus Tumble was reported missing by his parents Tuesday night after he disappeared during a family picnic.
He had been playing on the beach with his cousins.
Said his father, Guillermo.
Then they went to play on the bridge below Supper Bluff, and he didn't come back.
Marcus is 5 feet 2 inches tall and was wearing white shorts and a long black sweater. He's missing a front tooth.
Norma Pike to Adelaide Pike, June 2nd, 1947. My apologies for not being clearer on the topic of the Crowleys and the sofa. Last week, I was certain that Jonathan would rebuff my proposal. It drove me positively frenzied. The morning before I proposed, I was alone in the house and I banged the south wall of the living room as hard as I could with my shoe. I did it again and again and again until I was calm. The sofa arrived just in time and I was able to blame the movers for the dents in the wall.
Medicap Herald, June 5th, 1947. Yesterday, by a vote of 5 to 4, the Board of Supervisors authorized new blueprints for the Civic Theater. From Supervisor Zed Orenthal,
we've had no choice given our updated understandings of the geology of the bluff. We've had to abandon the idea of wings.
Letter from Norma Pike to Adelaide Pike, June 7th, 1947. Dear sister, every moment of every day is the happiest time of my life. The only shadow is that it is so easy to tip Jonathan into silence. He was so quiet after the joke I made about the kilt he was wearing to the Scottish festival. Then, yesterday, I said, darling, please don't misconstrue this, but I'm glad your business failed. Finally, you're all mine.
Los Angeles Times, September 2nd, 1947. For the first time in history, residents of the Placid farming community of Bennetop, California are locking their doors. The disappearance of 10-year-old Marcus Tumble has unsettled this town an hour and a half north of Santa Barbara. Marcus disappeared while at a family reunion below an area called Semper Bluff. In the absence of natural reasons, residents are looking at each other warily. Marcus's mother, Thea, finds it suspicious that he should go missing on the day of the Scottish festival.
All those men we never seen before walking all over town in dresses? The police say there's no evidence, but I don't need evidence.
Medicap Herald, September 24th, 1947. Man arrested in Marcus Tumble case. Police on Thursday announced that they've taken into custody a suspect in the case of missing 10-year-old Marcus Tumble. The man they've taken into custody is 33-year-old
Jonathan! September 24th at Adelaide, they put Jonathan in jail! They're saying he had something to do with that boy who went missing. It's ridiculous! They won't even say why they suspect him.
Letter from Ganderman Esquire to Sampson Monet Esquire. The trial proceeds well. On the stand, Mrs. Tumble pointed to a scratch on the float ring that Mr. Mollusk had in his furnished room. She positively identified it as the float ring that had belonged to her son. But Mrs. Tumble is not our only ally. Watch the jury as they watch Miss Pike. When her fiancé grimaces, she grimaces. When he looks downcast, so does she. She impeaches herself as character witness. She will be desperate to testify on his behalf. We must not appear too eager.
Excerpt from the trial at the courthouse Betsy. Cross-examination of Jonathan Mollusk.
So the float ring I'm holding here, you claim that you picked it up on the beach. Is that right?
Yes.
Why would you do that?
I don't know, I just did.
Were you afraid you might drown?
Laughter in the courtroom.
Objection.
Sustained.
So on the afternoon of May 30th, the afternoon that Marcus Tumble disappeared, you claim to have been taking a long walk. A 4-hour walk on the beach. Is that right?
Yes.
Were you in the habit of taking 4-hour-long walks in the middle of your workday?
No.
Had you ever taken such a walk?
No.
Did anyone see you?
It was a weekday afternoon.
You work at Monsey Limited shipping and transcription. Is that right? As a typist?
Yes.
How long has that been your employment?
3 weeks.
3 weeks, but you felt comfortable taking 4 hours off.
I needed to think about the world, my place in the world.
So you took this walk without telling anybody? Mr. Mollusk, is that right?
I wrote a note saying that I wasn't feeling well.
And who did you give this note to?
I meant to give it to my supervisor, Mr. Clark, but I found it later in my own pocket.
Medicap Herald, November 12th, 1947. Verdict announced, swift justice. After deliberating for only 5 hours, the Jonathan Mullis jury announced a guilty verdict on account of kidnapping as well as on account of murder. There was a commotion in the first row when Mullis' fiancée began to win so loudly that she had to be forcibly removed from the courtroom. But the murderer was never to spend 1 minute behind bars. In an extraordinary scene, 2 hours later, the boy's father and 2 other armed men rushed the bailiff from the courthouse by the sea to the transports. There, they held Mr. Mullis' head underwater until he was still. A witness confirmed that A witness reported that the incident confirmed Mullis' guilt, as he may not have moved to free himself, and allowed himself to be held under without a struggle. November 17th, body of child found. On Wednesday, construction workers at the site of the Menachep Civic Theater uncovered the body of a child. Authorities have confirmed that missing 10-year-old Marcus Tumble was found beneath the trapdoor of the long-delayed theater.
It's a 1 in a million tragedy,
said project manager Clifton Ailes.
The theater was sealed for safety, but one of the lower windows had come unlatched. He must have climbed in. From there, he appears to have peered through a still shallow trapdoor. When that heavy door fell shut, he wouldn't have had a chance.
Menachep Herald, February 1st. Los Angeles Times, February 2nd. February 7th. The opening of the Menachep Civic Theater would be home to the most extraordinary spectacle ever witnessed by this community.
The long-awaited opening of the Menachep Civic Theater will long be remembered.
3 months after the discovery of a boy beneath the still under construction trap of the theater.
The tragedy known to every member of our town.
The opening of the Civic Theater was finally underway.
With the night drenched in a sudden squall, the capacity audience shook off their coats and stashed their umbrellas, eager to put the events of the past few months out of their heads.
The audience watched, rapt, as Medea, passionately played by Broadway actress Linnea Rasmussen, called her children to her breast one final time. But as Medea wailed her vengeance, Norma Pike, fiancée of the unfortunately accused Jonathan Mullis, entered the theater dressed in all green.
Less a dress than a costume.
Dressed like the ocean.
She held aloft a glass.
Tall and green, full of liquid.
She held it high, like a torch, and proclaimed,
"Welcome to this theater. Your theater."
Most of the audience would later report that they believed her to be part of the performance.
This ugly box of a theater will become famous, but not in the way that you hoped. No one will ever think of this dank shell of oak without thinking of the 3 people who died because of it. The boy who had suffocated. The man murdered because of the boy. And the woman who cursed the building for all time by drowning in it.
Some looked away, others wished they had, as
she brought the glass to her mouth and tipped it back.
Straight into her throat.
Aspirated the entire contents of the glass.
Swallowed without swallowing.
Her eyes bore into the audience until they went dark, and she dropped to the floor dead.
In front of 700 people, Miss Pike drowned herself with a glass of seawater.
Page 71, Haunted California, by Naomi Sanderson. In the years since the triple tragedy, dozens of people, moonlit sweethearts, school daredevils, have looked up at the single mica window in the theater lobby and seen a figure. Some see a boy, trapped, afraid. Others see a man, eyes closed, resigned. But on the rare occasion that storm watchers find themselves overtaken, drenched, the shade illuminated by a lightning flash is a woman. She holds a sea green goblet and smiles in invitation. Drink with me.
After the Oak Box incident, one of the things we wanted to know was why Menachep? Why the Oak Box? My theory was that they might have chosen a place where there was some fright built in just by being in the building. Every single person in town knows the story of Norma Pike, but it's a local tragedy. On an impulse, really, I Googled scary theaters. It's the top result. 4 terrifying theaters. Princess Theatre, Melbourne, Australia, Manila Film Centre, Pasay City, Philippines, Theatre Royal, Drury Lane, London, and then there it is. 4th out of 4, the Oak Box, Menachep, California. I got chills because I realized that's how they found the Oak Box.
It was that Sunday morning, 18 hours after the Oak Box incident, 236 audience members and 5 members of the cast on the ground, breathing, thank God, but 2 mysteries. What happened to those people? That was the main question, of course, and second was the doors. How do we make sense of those doors?
Can you tell us your name, please?
I'm Avishai Lunser. I'm the Chief Forensic Engineer with the California Department of Infrastructure.
Efren Salas. I'm a firefighter with Station 41, Manatee County.
My name is Isla Fuente. I'm a neurobiologist at UC Berkeley.
I was the first person at the theater that night. I saw the girl on stage. I'm the one that carried her out. But before I picked her up, she said the one thing we can't figure out. Forwards.
The first thing I noticed about the bodies was the absence of what's called relative resonance. It's the tendency of people who know each other in tragic situations to cluster. After a fire, you'll find the bodies of friends holding each other, or a parent will be wrapped around a child. But the bodies in the Oak Box were different. People who weren't related sometimes fell on top of each other. People who loved each other in life sprawled in different directions.
Theater camera 1.
What about this girl? Sarah West. She was almost to the door. Was she leaving early?
No. Look at the way she fell. She was running.
And she's wearing earbuds. She wasn't even paying attention to the play.
Can you tell what she was listening to?
It's classical. Gymnopedy number 1.
Gymnopedy number 1 by Eric Satie?
Yeah.
Something else is strange, Haish. Something wrong?
I didn't know you knew my name.
What do you notice that's strange about the positions of the bodies?
The programs. So many people are holding them.
That's what I noticed too.
Holding them like this. Like they've been trying to read them up until the last second.
It was the speed that threw me. What could overcome that many people that fast? Maybe an electrical impulse, or maybe some kind of gas would overcome them. We scoured the ventilation system. There was nothing.
I was in the theater a lot. I wanted to spend time with them.
I said to the firemen, any thoughts on what could have overcome these people so fast?
How did you know it was fast?
Of course it was fast.
That's when they brought me in. Figuring out how long a body has been unconscious is actually not that hard to do if you have the right equipment. When a body loses consciousness, the temperature drops around 2.5 degrees, but that takes a while. So instead, we attached electrodes to their foreheads, microthermometers, and what we found was a surprise to say the least.
It didn't make any sense.
The first one to fall was Paul Schmidt in seat A13. Next was Anna Stroheim 3 rows back in D41. The first 26 people didn't lose consciousness all at the same time. They went down one by one.
I said, are you sure of this?
Theater camera 1. Continuous.
Positive. Look at this. It's a seating chart for the Oak Box. A13, D41, what do you notice?
Nothing.
Next was F42.
So front row, aisle, then the other side of the aisle?
Then there was Roger, L19.
The back of row L is at the horizontal aisle in the middle. It started at the front and the back and the sides.
Exactly. It works that way until the 26th person, Franklin James.
I know Frank.
Whatever happened, it started at the edges and worked its way in like something cooking.
This doesn't seem like a natural phenomenon. This seems like attackers.
Agreed.
241 people fall unconscious one by one like they got snuck up on. But that doesn't make any sense because they could see every other person falling before them. There's no... I don't see how humans could do this.
Meaning what?
I'm not sure.
Can you guys shut up for a second? Do you hear that? There.
I don't hear anything.
There! I lived in Alaska till I was 10, so I have really good hearing. Your ears are always covered. It's like a chirp. Again, over here. The bodies are making a sound.
Which bodies?
All of them.
On Sunday morning, we had 2 mysteries. On Sunday afternoon, we had 3. What happened to those people? And what were the sounds Efrain was hearing? And again, the doors. Those people had 45 minutes to leave, and those doors were wide open.
in a small California town.
In our top story tonight, a mystery.
Un evento misterioso! On Monday morning, we put out footage. The tips came flooding in. By noon, we received feedback from 5 continents. I pulled investigators from every county to check out each individual lead.
I got the slush pile. It was bigger than all the others combined, and it had more crazy than I knew was in the world.
I read a book once about intelligent monkeys.
Stop
My
putting
name is
those messy
Jasper, so you know you
voices.
can
I'll
trust
help
me.
you if you help me. And that was one left. Transcript of a call from Seattle, Washington to the Oak Box Hotline, October 7th, 7:32 p.m.
Oak Box Hotline.
Hello, my name is Marion J. I'm a professor at the University of Washington, and what I'm about to say will sound crazy.
Uh-huh.
Is this a secure line?
Yes. Why?
I'm going to tell you something, but you have to promise not to hang up on me.
I can't promise that.
You've got a theater full of people who've fallen unconscious.
Yes?
By now you've probably figured out they were attacked one by one.
How do you know that?
I think you're dealing with something called Farinox.
Farinox. What are Farinox?
Start with what they're not, which is human.
Now I am gonna hang up.
Are all of your victims still alive?
Yes?
They won't be if you hang up. You have less than a week before their hearts start to stop.
Farinox.
They're not human, but they look human.
Why haven't I heard of them?
Hello? Hello, is somebody there? Sorry, I thought I heard something. You haven't heard of Farinox because they don't want you to. And because the attacks are rare. Farinox are like locusts. They attack every 16 years. The last attack was in Goldsbeck, Scotland in 2010. There was an attack in Iceland 16 years for that, and then 16, and then 16. This is a swarm behavior. The creatures attack, mate, and then they all die. All but one. A caretaker who watches over the larvae while they grow. What that means is, all Farinox are 16 years old. Except one.
Okay, thank you. I've made notes of your call-in. We'll get back to you if necessary.
Was there an unusually high number of new students at Chippewa High School this year?
Yes?
And at least one teacher.
The theater teacher.
What happened to the old one?
She died.
Suddenly with no apparent cause?
Yeah. Oh, why wouldn't anybody else have heard of these things?
Oh!
What?
Sorry, my house must have blown a fuse. I can't see a thing. There are 4 of us currently trying to hunt Farinox. At the same time, Farinox are hunting us. Of course, they have the advantage.
Which is what?
They know for sure that we exist.
Who are the other 3 people studying them?
There's a zoologist in Colombia named Keita Muguruza. There's an evolutionary biologist named Melissa Tenge. And a professor at the University of Minnesota. He studies here. Who's there? Who's there?
Then I heard a click.
Call ends 7:37.
I tried to call back, but it wouldn't go through. I sat in the call room thinking I had a choice to make. I could march into Sergeant Brock's office and say, I know this sounds crazy, but I think I might be onto something. Or I could move on to the next call. Thing was, even though it was ridiculous, I believed her. But I was new at work and I was already screwing up. I moved on to the next call.
At first, we didn't know what we were studying. Hunting. As it turns out, the key had already been discovered by a Bolivian named Keita Muguruza. She and her postdoc, Abilio Penti, had won the 2022 Nobel Prize in Biology for their work.
Estábamos estudiando que la gente notado durante siglos.
We were studying something that people had noticed for centuries.
Se llama el enigma de viuda negra.
It's called the black widow conundrum. When an insect falls into a widow's web, the spider doesn't attack right away. Instead, it follows a particular, almost ritualized pattern of movement. The struggling moth knows something approaches. Slowly, the widow then moves herself into view. Large, black, shiny. Adrenaline flows from the insect into the web. The strands are coated in the insect's terror, and the widow bathes in it.
It's a brilliant evolutionary strategy because it's a way to get nourishment from a different part of the animal. Every other predator on the planet feeds on the meat of its prey. These creatures subsist on the powerful chemicals secreted by animals who are terrified. They actually feed on fear.
A creature that feeds on fear has a different hunting strategy than one that feeds on flesh. If terror is what sustains you, then you have to create it. And so a Pharaonic attack doesn't just capture their prey, they trap it.
The Venus flytrap and the Black Widow are the two most famous Pharaonics, a plant and insect. But then there was the evolutionary jump.
The idea that a species of Pharaonics might be capable of mimicking humans was so hard to get over that we'd take a step back, ask not how could this happen, but why would it? Why would it be worth to prey on humans when there are thousands of other animals that are easier to capture?
Evolution follows the prey. The juicier the prey, the more clever the trap. Pharaonics' chosen prey, their only prey, are the creatures on Earth that are most susceptible to fear.
The human brain evolved in a way that made them incredibly good at spotting threats on the horizon. Was that a snake in the grass, or just a branch? Was that sound a lion, or just thunder? All that fear helped keep us alive for 100,000 years. But when we emerged from the jungle, our capacity for fear didn't just go away. It repurposed itself. So now, instead of worrying about being eaten by a tiger, we worry about tomorrow's math test.
All the anxiety we face is pretty much useless to us, but from a Pharaonic's point of view, it makes us the equivalent of a large, slow-moving steak.
From the obituary of Marion J., professor of neuroscience at the University of Washington. Professor J was well-liked and well-respected. Her unexpected passing left a cloud over the campus. Professor J is survived by her parents, Pamela and Martin J., and by her grandmother, Thelma Lampkin.
Interview with Kenosha R. Silverling Johnson, October 5th, 8:15 a.m. Minichap High School, second floor counseling office.
And do you know why we're having this conversation?
Because of yesterday?
Can you be more specific?
Because of what happened in the woods.
We're here because of what you told people happened in the woods.
It happened.
You talked to a lot of people yesterday, and you told them all the same story.
Yes?
Is that story something you're sure is true, or is it possible you made some of it up?
It was all true.
So that's why we're here today, Kenosha? Because that story, the one about what happened in the woods, that story couldn't possibly have happened.
Kenosha came out of the womb perfect. When she was 3 weeks old, she had a seizure. We were afraid we'd lose her. You could tell right away that something had changed.
I remember Kenosha's first day at Minichap because she'd gone to the audition board and the spring for the pencil was broken. So there was no way to write her name on it. And I went up to her and said, "Hey, do you want to audition? I've got a pen." And she said, "My name is Kenosha R. Silverling Johnson."
So the joke very quickly went around that the R was to distinguish herself.
To distinguish herself from all the other Kenosha Silverling Johnsons.
The kids at her old school can be so mean. Minichap was supposed to be a fresh start.
Thinking back, it was a bad start because you always had it in your head. You always had a little bit of distance.
She had all the normal emotions like grief and happiness and nervousness, but they weren't wired right. Like she'd grimace to say, "I love you." She spent her whole life studying people's expressions, and she got quite good at showing the right emotion, but she was acting. It was like she was doing it phonetically. And there was one thing she could never manage, and that was to lie. There was too much going on. What do you do with your hands? Do your eyes look up or down? She couldn't calibrate the information.
She told me she couldn't go to homecoming with me because her uncle was an astronaut. I wasn't actually going to ask her, but it still made me feel bad.
I'd give her lessons. I'd say, the situation is you're 2 hours late and I've been trying to reach you. I'm frantic and angry. Go. She'd go blank. Now you tell me that your phone ran out of juice, and she was awful. I'd say, Kenosha, you have got to master this, or you're gonna have the most boring teenagers of anybody on earth.
The bench incident really was an accident. You know those lunch tables, they're long with these long benches, and Kenosha was sitting all alone. And I came up on the other side of her and asked if anyone was sitting there. And she said, no. And I picked up the bench and moved it over to our table so we could fit more people. Of course, long term, it actually worked in her favor, because while she was sitting all alone is when Clifton went up to her.
Oh, Clifton, where to start? Clifton's kind of perfect.
I think that he's really, really nice.
Kind, so sweet. We don't have any homecoming kings or queens or any sort of prom royalty, but if we did, he'd be both kings.
He just walked up there and asked if he could sit with her.
Was there anything that made you go over to her?
There was this one thing, actually. When I first saw her phone rang, and she didn't look at who it was, but she made herself smile, and when she spoke, you could hear it in her voice.
The next thing you know, I look over. They're in the cafeteria, and she's making him laugh.
A lot of times she was funny on purpose, but there was this one time. I was laughing so hard.
He literally hits his head on the table.
One time, she told me, I like you more than water.
You'd see them everywhere together. He'd laugh and put his arm around her neck.
I couldn't tell if it was romantic or not.
So it's the first weekend of school, and the new girls buy the audition board, and the Straight for the Pencils program.
I wanted to be in a play, so I did some research, and I found this book. It's called Uta Hagen's Respect for Acting. It's really famous, and it's great. You should read it if you're interested in acting at all.
We had talked about the idea of Kenosha being involved in theater because I thought she would do quite good. She was so good at mimicking emotions. So I said, well, sweetheart, go for it.
Kenosha, that story that you told so many people, it made some of those people anxious. It scared them.
They canceled the play?
No.
It didn't scare them enough.
Why do you want the play canceled?
Something bad is going to happen.
What's going to happen? Can you tell me that?
It was really early for the fall play to be happening, but we just went with it. We assumed it had something to do with the Miss Pendulum tragedy.
Marsh Pendulum was one of my best teachers. Such a shock. 2 days before the start of school, just bam, she died of a heart attack. She was 38. She didn't smoke, she exercised, You know how those things just happen sometimes?
The day of the audition, she burst in the door. I asked, how did it go? She said, I nailed it.
I saw her audition. She was really good, but I told her, you never know.
The next day, she calls me from school, and she's talking really fast. She says, I didn't get a part. And I said, no, sweetheart, we don't always get what we expect. And she says, but I was the best one. Even then, there could be all sorts of reasons. She said, no, something's up.
The casting was pretty strange. I'm looking at this list and like, why don't I know any of these names?
Almost every name on the list was new. Practically every kid who got a part was new that year.
When Kenosha would get too excited, she'd lose her skill at mimicking. So I started to hear a woo. She hung up the phone and I was worried something might happen.
We were at the first cast meeting and I was looking to see if I could audition for tech. Kenosha comes marching in, and then she starts to make some sort of announcement. And then she did it. She started to make beeping noises.
That was a panic attack.
She fell down, hard, one knee. She couldn't breathe. She practically crawled out of the room. A person who tells a story over and over, it gets a performance aspect to it. They subconsciously know what things are getting a reaction, and the more they tell the story, the more they lean into those aspects of it. The story doesn't get so much memorized as etched. She said, "I'm going to tell you a story. Please, just listen."
She said, "Please, just listen."
Please, just listen. Yesterday, I'd made it out of school, but I'd hit my left knee.
My left knee.
Right here.
So I couldn't run very fast.
I was allowed to walk home on the highway as long as I faced the traffic. And I looked behind me and suddenly there are 3 people way back, and I know I need to get away from them.
There's that strip of forest between the highway and the Walmart, and before I jumped in, I looked again, and they were way closer. The forest is deep, but I cut through it all the time.
The forest is deep, but I cut through it all the time, so I knew I'd have the advantage. But when I looked back,
I got so scared.
When I looked back, I got so scared because they turned in right after me. They wanted me in the forest, and they were fast.
Suddenly, there's this sound, crazy loud,
The loudest thing I've
ever heard.
ever. I can't tell where it's coming from. I'm shaking.
I ran.
I ran faster than I could see.
I looked back, and this was the thing that scared me more than anything ever.
One by one, their eyes lit up,
Which I know sounds
crazy.
I could hear music ahead of me. I remembered there was a carnival, a mini carnival for kids in the Walmart parking lot. Just some bumper cars and a tilt-a-whirl. I could hear the 7-year-olds screaming as they came down the dip at the kiddie coaster.
All I needed was to get to them. But when I looked again, there weren't 3 pairs of load-up eyes.
There were 2.
Where's the other?
And I have to choose. Do I try to make it to the parking lot carnival, or do I hide in the forest? I know I'm close, but for some reason the scariest idea is that I almost make it, and then I'm a few feet from safety, and the 3rd one is waiting, and he grabs me in his arms.
And I can't do it. I can't go forward. People don't naturally look up because we don't have any predators from up there. So I start climbing a tree. I start to climb a live oak.
A live oak, and halfway up I freeze. The 2 of them get to me, and then the 3rd one does. But they don't see me even though they light the ground with their eyes.
They start to argue.
They have an argument about whose fault it was. Then the 2 of them grab the 3rd, and he starts to scream, "Please, no." They hold his head, and one of them says something in his ear. He whispers it, but I hear it completely clear. And after he whispers it, the 3rd one starts crying. And then he falls over dead onto the roots of the tree. What he whispers is, "Can I tell you a secret?"
Kenosha, can you concentrate just a little longer here? You said their eyes lit up. Could those have been flashlights?
No, I know the difference.
Have you ever heard of anyone whose eyes lit up?
No!
So, is it possible you imagined it? What you said was true. They should have found 4 sets of footprints. But they only found yours.
They must have erased them.
The police followed the tracks to a tree, just like you said. But there was no body there.
They moved it.
And what about that sound? That sound that they were making that seemed like it was coming from everywhere?
It was a foghorn.
There are no foghorns within 200 miles.
It was a foghorn.
Foghorns are an example of a phenomenon called duotones, sounds that mean different things in different contexts. In the distance, a foghorn is comforting. It tells you you're safe. But if you hear it loud, it's terrifying. You're too close. It's too late.
After the story in the woods, Kenosha started acting strange. Like, she won't go to the south wing, where the theater is. Won't go at all, not even to Chem Lab. And I'd say, Kenosha, you're putting your entire grade in jeopardy. But she will not go anywhere near that theater.
She started to talk bad about the play. She pulled me aside and said, "This play is like a malady." I had no idea what she meant.
She told me the play would be like a sick dog, only scarier.
She told me it would leave a greenish taste in my mouth.
It's amazing she had time to go to class. She talked with over a quarter of the school.
She said, "Don't go to the play. Let's play charades that night."
We should have a movie night.
She said, "Please, please, please, don't go to the play." I said, "Kenosha, I'm in the play."
She was so scared to go to the play, but of course she still ended up going. She thought she could save those people.
My brain has an anchor right here. It weighs down my thoughts and I can't see through it.
Please? I like you more than water.
She told everyone she met that the play was going to end in war, and I knew she couldn't lie, but I still didn't believe her.
Email from Marion J. to Gwendolyn Hayes, October 4th. 3 days before Marion J. is found dead in her study.
Paradox are perfect replicas of people. These things pass for humans everywhere. They mimic our emotions. And the only person who's ever been able to detect a Faranock is someone who is mimicking emotions herself. It was the girl who disappeared, Kenosha.
Email from Marion J. to Gwendolyn Hayes, October 5th. 2 days before Marion J. is found dead in her study.
Miss H, please respond to me. When Faranock's attack, it's 99.9% lethal, like rabies. Once you're attacked, you have up to 2 weeks before your heart starts to stop. But it's going to stop. In the whole history of the time this has been happening, there's only ever been one survivor.
I was still working the slush pile. There was only one person who knew what happened in the theater that night, and if I wanted to talk to her, I was going to need an angle. I walked into Sergeant Brock's office without knocking and said, "Let me talk to the girl!"
I said, "The girl's useless."
She said 4 words to that fireman, which doesn't make sense.
She wanted out of there.
What if what she said was 4 words? She was trying to tell him about something that someone said. Well, let me talk to the girl. I can get those 4 words.
With all the bodies in the theater, the air felt heavy and warm, like a greenhouse. It was 241 bodies, but they put IV tubes in all of them, so the IV bags came up to here, and that's what you noticed first. It was actually kind of beautiful because the theater was dark and those bags glowed.
He came to me, and he said, "I want to take some time off."
And he said, "I'm sorry, I need all hands on deck right now."
And my friend said, he choked up. He said, "I know these people. I love these people."
I wanted to help out in the theater, see if I could figure out what those noises were making. But he said no one can hear those noises except you.
And he said, that's why they need you.
Menachep Psychiatric Facility, Stabilization Room 4, October 21st, 9:30 a.m.
Angela, may I come in? My name is Gwendolyn Hayes, and I'm one of the people that's trying to figure out what happened in the theater that night. Does that security camera bother you? It shouldn't. There's nobody watching you. It's just there in case, well, if something were to go wrong, which it won't, then they could look at it later to try to figure out what had happened. I feel like I know you. Everybody I talk to, everybody. Whenever I mention your name, their whole voice bubbles out. They talk about your soccer and your sense of humor and that CPR class you organized. Right now, a lot of people need your help. Whatever went wrong at the Oak Box, it's still going on. I have this theory about what you said to the fireman. He heard 4 words, but what I think you said was 4 words. Can you tell me which one of those it was? I have something I want to ask you.
Get away from me!
I'm sorry?
Get away!
I'm so sorry.
Help! Help me!
Theater Camera 1, October 25th, 2:45 a.m.
Anyway, Emily, I'll be back to check on you soon. Miss Mel! This is Eprin Salas. I was in your 8th grade trigonometry class 14 years ago. I'm here to make sure you're comfortable and safe, but that's not all. I know you can hear me, and I think you're making noises. You and everyone in this theater, so if you make a sound, I'll hear it. I have good hearing. Try it for me. The year I was in your math class was the year those midterms got stolen off your desk before I had the chance to grade them. Make a sound if you remember that. For me, it was a nice memory because I was one of the 6 kids that had that period free, and instead of making me a suspect, you deputized me. I was new to the school and nervous, and I never told you what that meant to me. to be trusted like that. The whole experience shaped who I wanted to be. It's actually part of the reason why I fight fires, so I wanted to tell you. I did steal those tests! Hey! Quiet! She made the sound, didn't you hear it? Please, just do it again.
You have got to keep your voice down.
They can hear us.
Menachep Psychiatric Facility, Stabilization Room 4.
Thank you for seeing me again.
Answer every question. You pause more than a second, I kick you out. What's a book you read in high school English?
Hamlet.
In 15 seconds, tell me your life.
Born and raised in Indiana, moved to New York to become an artist. It didn't work out, but I met my husband and we moved out here so that I could pursue law enforcement. My daughter's in 3rd grade.
6 times 8.
48.
What are you most afraid of?
Millipedes.
What's the secret?
What secret?
Tell me the secret or I kick you out.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's 4 words.
4 words. 4 words that someone in the theater that night said, yes?
Yes.
What were the words? You don't have to say them. You could write them down or whisper them as soft as you'd like.
I'm too scared.
There's nothing here that can hurt you. Who said the words, male or female?
Female.
Adult or student?
An adult.
What were the words?
I'll tell you next time.
Give me the first word. Just give me the first one.
The.
The. The first word is the. Thank you.
Theater Camera 3.
There's these scientists in Guangzhou, China, who have this therapy that seemed to help in coma patients. It's a machine that creates sound waves, and it's so huge they had to put it in a cargo plane, and it's already flying over the Pacific. And there's this group in Cape Town that are sending over these drops that'll go in your eye, and they stimulate brain function. And all over the earth, in all different ways, people are praying for you. Captain Donovan?
I've got some bad news. The EEG results came back, and none of the bodies show brain function.
No brain function that they can measure.
It would register.
You're not a scientist. What if whatever happened to them hides the brainwaves?
It's not possible.
This isn't possible.
They're brain, but they're as good as dead.
Then why are they making those noises?
Nobody hears those noises except for you.
Because I have good hearing.
Or because you want to hear.
I hear them!
Never shout.
I'm sorry.
It's not good for you to be here so much.
It gives me strength.
When was the last time you slept?
I don't need sleep. They're sleeping for me.
That doesn't make any sense. I don't want to lose you too.
Okay then. I'll sleep.
Menachep Psychiatric Facility, Stabilization Room 4.
Angela, it's me again. I brought you something. I hear you're good, and I brought sheet music, if you feel like playing. I'm just gonna set that there. You okay? You good to play something? How about this?
Jim Putty No. 1 by Eric Satie. It's famous for being calming, soothing. In Europe, parents play it to calm their children.
Beautiful. Whenever you're ready. What was the second word?
Plays.
Plays. The plays. What was the third word? Let the music calm you down.
Not.
Good. The plays not. What was the fourth word?
Over.
The play's not over. Thank you. Why does that scare you so much? Angela?
Theater Cameras 4 and 6. October 14th, 4 p.m.
Captain Donovan! I figured it out! I know what's going on here!
I'm here to escort you up.
No?
Yes, that's right.
I figured it out!
We're worried about you.
Haven't you ever had that dream that something scary is coming towards you? And you can't move, and you can't make a sound, except you can make those tiny little squeaks that people on the outside of the dream can hear? They're trying to scream their way out of there.
You know I like you. I think you respect me.
I do.
But you are not in your right mind.
I'm fine.
I disagree. and I'm ordering you to come with me.
They need me here.
There's no they there anymore.
I hear them!
The debate now is when we take them off life support.
No!
The doctors made this decision.
They got it wrong.
I need you to come with me,
For what?
or you're fired.
I don't care about that.
No department in the country will hire you.
I'll change careers.
2 seconds will drag you out.
You're not big enough.
I run deputies.
I'll slip between the bags.
Get out of this theater right now!
No.
Deputies.
There's still people in these bodies! Listen to me. If you can hear me, I need you to know something. I need you to know that you're loved, that this town loves you, and God loves you, and I love you. I won't let anything happen to you, but please help me. If you can, if there's anything you can do to reach out to me, I need you to do it right now. Give me 1%, they'll give you the other 99.
Let's go, my friend.
Did you hear that?
I hear it.
I do too.
I hear it too. They're in there. Find a way to get them out.
We've been over this.
Something protected you.
I don't know what.
What was different about that day?
Nothing.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
And the play, you can't remember anything other than those 4 words. The play's not over?
I would tell you, it's on the blank.
Angela, the people in the theater are running out of time. I need a favor.
What?
When you get out of here tomorrow, I want you to come with me to the theater.
No!
I'll be right with you.
I can't.
My guess is when you walk in there tomorrow, you're gonna remember what happened. Let's run through the performance day one more time.
It was a typical Friday. Math, biology, English, social studies, PE, Toastmasters.
Which you said is after school at the Y.
Yeah.
Are you a good speaker?
No, that's why I'm in Toastmasters. I can't even remember the speech correctly because my head gets all light and my chest tightens up and... Oh.
What?
It was my day to speak. My dad's an internist. He gave me a pill, Endural. It keeps the adrenaline from taking over so I can breathe normal.
You took a pill that blocks adrenaline.
No. I took 3.
Fear is irrational. Scary movies make us wince, even though we know there's no way anything can come out of that screen and hurt us. If anything, it should be fear that should be scary.
Email from Marion J. The afternoon of her death.
The attack is so simple. A fair knock asks, "Can I tell you a secret?" The victim says yes. And that's a mistake, because they think of all of the scary things that the secret could be. The fair knock leans down. A tiny extension of leather incisors punctures the ear, drains every little bit of adrenaline from the victim's body, and they fall unconscious. These things scare me. I study them, but I study them at a distance. They're right at the border between the monsters who we pretend scare us and the people who actually do.
Theater cameras 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6 final recording.
You can do this.
Who's there?
It's us, Detective Haitian. You remember Angela. You carried her out of here.
Yes, hello. Are you alright?
No.
Being here takes time to get used to.
I know almost every face.
But you can help them. If you can remember what happened, that can make the difference.
Are they still alive?
We're giving them water, nutrients, but soon that's not going to be enough.
Could you leave us alone, just for a bit?
I'll be in the back. There's others too if you need us.
Do you remember where you were sitting?
Right where I am now.
I want you to think about the days leading up to the play. There were posters all over the school.
Yeah, they said don't tell the secret. And then they changed and said, can I tell you a secret?
Good. Then the last day, they changed again. They added the title of the play. Do you remember that?
No.
You don't remember the title of the play?
I don't.
It might help to get on stage.
No!
Angela, just come up here. I made a phone call from up here. Do you remember that?
I don't.
What's the last thing you remember from that night?
I was running through the parking lot. I was late because of Ghostmasters, but it turned out I didn't have to worry. There was some kind of electrical problem that kept all of us in the lobby.
Angela, come up here. I won't let anything happen to you. This is where they found you. I want you to take a deep breath. Now lower your head and close your eyes. On the count of 3, I want you to lift your head and open your eyes. 1, 2, 3.
911, what is your emergency?
I'm not sure.
Is it life-threatening?
Yes.
Are you safe right now?
No.
I'm sending someone. More than one. There's cars already on the way. What's your name, Chica?
Angela.
Angela?
Angela. I'm sending them to the Oak Box. Is that right?
Yes.
And there's a play tonight. The high school's performing a play. Is that where you are?
Yes.
In the theater?
Yes.
And somebody's hurt?
Everybody.
Who's that again? Where are you in the theater?
I'm just standing on the stage.
Take a very, very deep breath. Hold it.
Angela? What are you thinking about?
The end. Calling for help knowing it was too late.
I want you to take a look at something. This is a program from that night. That's the title of the play.
Trap.
What's wrong?
It's right in front of us.
What was?
Should have been obvious. The play was a trap, and it was even called Trap. The play was in sections. 1, a picture of infinity. 2, the Oak Box. 3, what held them. What held us? Something had happened in a theater at a school play. Everybody in the audience had fallen over unconscious.
But what happened in the play? What was the story about?
This is what it was about.
In the play you were watching, people had fallen unconscious in a theater.
There were these creatures, things that looked human but they weren't. They were called Baranox. They attacked the audience one by one and then all at once.
But what happened in the play? What made the audience you were with fall unconscious?
Those creatures, that's what attacked us. They look human, but they're like black widows. They feed on fear.
Those creatures are in a play. They're not real.
Yes, they are!
I promise they're not!
They confuse people. The play was about all the things that were about to happen to us, and so when it started, we couldn't tell what was real and what wasn't.
Creatures that feed on fear and put on plays. It's ridiculous.
Sounding like the ridiculous is how they hide.
Okay, even if they were real, they're not here now. Take a very, very deep breath. Hold it.
Stay away from me.
What's wrong?
Who's here? Who's in the theater?
Are you all right? I think we're okay. Should we leave?
No, I just got freaked out.
This place can do that. Do you want me to stay?
Please, for a little bit.
Tell me more about the creatures.
In the final section of the play, which is also called Trap, Faranox started to attack.
Attack the audience.
Yes.
How did they do that?
One of the girls in the story, she walked down into the audience and she was narrating what she was doing. She stopped in front of a girl and she asked a question. She leaned down and whispered something. The girl fell over out of her chair, but the audience didn't think anything of it because she was listed in the program as Fallen Girl. She rose up and did the same thing. When the girl nodded, she leaned down and
there was something we didn't understand at first. If a Farinac attack depends on anxiety, why were those people falling over? They didn't think it was real, so they should have been fine. What those people were worried about wasn't that one of the actors was that they were scared of death. It was that one of the actors would whisper in their ear and they wouldn't know what to do. They had stage fright, which, as it turns out, was just as fatal as fear of death.
By the time they got to me, I was scared. They whispered to me and nothing happened.
You'd taken the Inderal.
Yeah,
How many people had fallen over by then?
a lot.
Why wouldn't somebody have left?
I was just a play. Someone's cell phone had gone off, but if you took a look at the program, it said cell phone girl. Can I tell you a secret?
Stop! Stop the play!
Who was that?
My name is Kenosha R. Superly Johnson. Everybody listen up. In a calm and orderly manner, leave the theater. You have to leave the theater for your own safety. There's a small child trapped in a car in the parking lot, and you all have to go make sure it's not your car.
Worst liar in the entire world.
Please, leave!
They think you're part of the play.
You're the one playing me.
Yes.
You're not human.
Well, what am I then?
Fair enough. You're human, and you are. Stay away from them. Now will you leave?
They think you're part of the play because you are part of the play.
No, I'm not.
Then why are you in the program?
I'm not.
Yes, you are. Right here, it says Real Kenosha.
This is a trick.
There's a part of the play where you get chased in the woods.
You made up a whole part of the play in case I came back during the attack.
That's just part of the script.
There is no script.
Right here,
That's not real. This is a trap.
it's a high school play.
The perfect trap. Everybody has to come and nobody's allowed to leave. They feed on anxiety. You've only lost a few so far, but that'll change fast. The lights will go out, you hear a crazy loud noise, and their eyes will light up as they start to feed.
There's nothing you can do that'll get them out of their chairs.
I don't have to get them out of their chairs. I just have to get rid of you.
Good luck.
I've been hiding in the theater the whole time preparing a surprise.
What's the surprise?
If I told you, it wouldn't be a surprise. Everybody, they're feeding on your stress. So smile, relax yourself from the outside in, and take a huge breath. Do it! And relax. I promise you won't be called on as a part of this performance. What's wrong with you?
Nothing.
Then why are you wilting?
We're acting. Stop. I want to tell you a secret.
No.
If you let me tell you a secret, I'll wake up the rest of the audience.
How?
I can do it.
I don't believe you.
Your only chance to save them is to believe me. Can I tell you a secret?
Stop smiling. Go ahead.
Can I tell you a secret?
Can I tell you a secret? I took 4 Inderal. Surprise.
Too bad. Lost your emotes. And everyone out there still thinks that this is a play.
Everyone but one. Mom! I'm right here, sweetheart! Now!
Sound of all of those people being freed. The best scream you can imagine.
25 days after the incidents at the Oak Box began, they came to an end.
My name is Angela Moore. I lived through the Manicat Baranock attack.
My name is Clifton Barnes. I survived being in the play.
Maura Aoki. I'm alive today because Kenosha R. Silverling Johnson.
Kenosha saved my life.
My whole family was in the theater that night.
Thank you, Kenosha.
Thank you.
We love you, Kenosha.
The people who had been unconscious had no memory of what had happened. but it changed them. I published 3 papers.
I got a medal.
I got a promotion.
I got a grade.
And I got Kenosha. For a few weeks last year, the town of Manachap, California became famous. But that fame faded quickly. What happened seemed impossible. Psychologists wrote it off as an event of mass hysteria. People getting scared in a place where they were already scared.
I lived through it, and even I'm not sure. Did it really happen, or was it just like that eye in the peephole? The most scared I've ever been, and it was just me scaring me.
About a high school play.
You say to an audience, you're going to die! And they stay in the seat because they don't want to miss it!
All paradox are 16 years old.
Except one.
People are naturally scared of the dark.
Can I tell you a secret?
Can I tell you a secret?
Can I tell you a secret?